Ultra Street Fighter 4. One of 2014's biggest fighting games is just getting closer and closer, and luckily we're finally getting more information about this title. One of the things I'm looking forward to about Ultra Street Fighter 4 is that they have mentioned a little bit about their upgrades and the different things we haven't heard about that could actually change the game or make things a little bit more enjoyable. Recently at the Taipei Game Show in China, Yoshinori Ono, which is one of the designers of Street Fighter 4 and overall producers of the game, was talking about some of these new features and include YouTube uploading, that thing that we all know from a lot of those HD remake games from Capcom back on the previous generation. Looks like Ultra SF4 is going to get something in that regard, although my god man, I hope it's a little bit better than the quality of the previous games, which were about 240p if I remember correctly. Either way, that's a nice addition, but it's not directly necessary because a lot of people, if they want to upload gameplay to YouTube, already have the means to do so because capture cards aren't as expensive as they used to be. But the other thing that I would request, and hopefully ends up being true, is an improvement to netcode. The producers and Ayano, who is another guy working on Ultra SF4, has been asked this in the past and previously kind of avoided the question in regards to netcode. I believe he said no once, and another time he actually answered differently. And netcode would definitely be an upgrade that I would like seeing done to Ultra SF4. Don't get me wrong, Street Fighter 4's netcode is relatively unchanged since its release back in 2009, and it's not horrible. It's not the best netcode by any means for a 3D fighter, but it's pretty good, and it remains better than a lot of other 3D games or 3D 2D games like Mortal Kombat and Injustice, although I still believe Street Fighter Cross Tekken's netcode to be a little bit better than SF4, but it really depends. A lot of people have had wavering instances that have been really bad with Cross Tekken, and mine's always been really good. Either way, I think the netcode in a game like Street Fighter 4 can definitely be improved. Unless it's a 4-bar connection, it's really hard to play somebody, and it gets really bad at 3 bars and below, especially when you get into longer distance territory. Street Fighter 4's netcode has an issue with distance, and this is one of the things that I think needs to be addressed in Ultra SF4, and one of the bigger issues with a lot of fighting games, especially the fighting games that come from the Japan end. Don't get me wrong though, some Japanese developers absolutely get it, and over the long run, Capcom did finally understand that yes, netcode is a huge part of online fighting games now because having competitive scenes is actually a rare thing, and giving people the access to play games online with everyone else and actually run well is important. It's extremely valuable now, and I hope they realize this with Ultra SF4. Of course, a lot of us are still hoping for a next-gen version, like a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One version of Ultra Street Fighter 4 because of that previous thing that happened with, like, the Hadouken cabs and Capcom leading towards these hints of them working with PlayStation. I don't care what system is on, if Ultra Street Fighter 4 gets a netcode boost, I'm definitely buying whatever system it might be and the game immediately. That definitely needs to happen. Since there's been no confirmation of the netcode yet, there has been some rumors and some recent ongoings that happened at this game show that Ono was at, and one of the guys that actually finally had the opportunity to play Ultra SF4 online had some pretty positive things to say. GamerB, as you guys might know, is a very profound Street Fighter 4 professional player. He's one of the best 8-ons, if not the best 8-on player in the world, and he's had a lot of time with Ultra SF4 testing out the new characters and stuff like that at multiple game shows. He's had a lot of time online. He plays the game quite a bit online, and definitely has something to reference to as far as the quality of netcode. He recently was able to play in Taipei the actual online of Ultra SF4 against somebody else, and he said it was really good, like near flawless. Which is a good thing. I'm actually really happy about this. If they've taken a lot of what the fans like us are saying and have done something to the netcode, that would be freaking amazing, and that's a huge selling point for Ultra Street Fighter 4 going forward. I think new characters are cool. Of course, a lot of these new characters are already in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We don't know who the 5th is. Maybe they're doing other stuff to the game to make it more of an appealing package. What I think would make it the most appealing is if they did focus on the netcode and actually made adjustments. Of course, there's this issue with netcode over in Asian countries. Japan notably has amazing netcode in fighting games, almost any fighting game, because a lot of fighting games come down to distance, and because Japan is a small country and their infrastructure is so much better than everyone else's across the planet, even games like Ultimate Marvel 3, which has notoriously bad netcode, run amazing in Japan because that's where it was play-tested. A lot of these games aren't play-tested outside of Japan because they're Japanese made, so they don't have any perspective that, like, well, if it's East Coast to West Coast, we have no idea, you know, but in Japan it runs great, so that's one of the bigger issues. And the fact that he was not in Japan when this was being tested, he was actually in another country, is a good thing, and it's something to be hopeful for. It means that there could be some adjustments made to the netcode of Ultra SF4, and the fact that we actually are getting people in other countries to try it out is a good thing. I also like the fact that Capcom might be listening to people. They might be really focusing on the stuff that needs fixing in SF4, as far as like, not really fundamental game mechanics, but as far as just functionality. And if Ultra SF4 does fix some of the functionality of the Street Fighter 4 series, that would be amazing, and that deserves high regards and high reviews and high praise. And I can't freaking wait to play it. The netcode in the previous Street Fighter 4 series is one of the reasons that I did stop playing it, and it was just very frustrating. I know a lot of people have good experiences on PC, but those experiences are really only with people that have higher connections. And what makes a good game have good netcode is how it handles distance, how it handles connections from one person from a far distance to somebody else that's also a far distance. So, all I'm saying is that there is hope right now. There is hope that there could be an improvement to netcode in Ultra Street Fighter 4 based off this impression. And all I'm saying right now is that if you guys want to see a netcode improvement, let Capcom know. Let them know what we want. Let them know that this is an important thing to actually have good netcode in fighting games to support them in the long run. Either way, what would you guys think about the adjustment to netcode in Street Fighter 4? Do you think Street Fighter 4's netcode is kind of really good in comparison to the majority of fighting games, or would you like to see an improvement, especially for the fact that Ultra SF4 is kind of a new package, re-release, rebirth of Street Fighter 4 type of thing? Either way, thank you dudes very much for watching, and if you have not checked out the previous Ultra Street Fighter 4 informational video based off some rumors we were talking about, the last character that is to be revealed, and we have a pretty good idea of who it is. My name is Maximilian, and I will see you folks next time.